Hello friends! Today we're learning about structures of plants. First, I'll explain the learning targets, or what you should know and be able to do by the end of the lesson. Here they are. I can identify some common plant structures, and I can observe and draw plant structures. To begin, let's review what we learned about animal structures. When we talked about and labeled the parts of the tortoise and dog from our last lesson, we were identifying their structures. Plants also have structures or parts that allow them to survive and grow. We're going to deepen our understanding of structures by identifying some parts of plants. Then I'll ask you to observe and draw some of the plant structures in your community. Many of you probably already know common plant structures like the roots, stem, leaves, and flowers, fruits, or seeds. Although many plants have the same parts, the shapes, sizes, and colors of the parts may be very different. For our activity today, you'll need to draw a table like this and write the plant parts in the first column like I've done. Pause the video here to draw your table and write the names of the structures. Great! Now let's talk about how to make observations like a scientist. You want to try to use all 5 of your senses to gather as much information as possible. Observations include how something looks, feels, sounds, smells, and sometimes how it tastes. Because we're going to use photos for some of your observations, you might have to think about what you already know and take a good guess. For example, I can't feel the roots in a photo, but I know that tree roots are often strong and very hard, while roots of smaller plants are flexible and sometimes very fragile. So when you make your observations, be thinking about all the details you can actually observe, and then try to fill in some of the missing parts using your prior knowledge. Let's look at the root structures of these plants. How are the structures the same, and how are they different? In a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and take a few minutes to observe the roots in the photos. When I ask you to observe, I'd like for you to think about how the roots look. Are they thick or thin? Long or short? Do they look smooth or bumpy? And do you think that they're hard or flexible? In the first row of your table, draw a picture of each set of roots and add some words that you think describe it. I'll leave one example on the screen along with some words that you might use to describe the roots in the photos. When you're done observing, drawing, and writing, you can play the video to continue our lesson. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, you've drawn your observations and you've written a couple of words to describe the roots in each photo. Your table might look similar to this. The first set of roots are tree roots. They're thick and long and they look bumpy. I know from touching tree roots before that they're hard. The roots in the other photo are skinny and flexible. They look much smaller and shorter than the tree roots, and smoother too. So let's look at another plant part. These are both photos of stems, but their structure is a little different. Your next job is to observe the stems in each photo, draw what you see, and add some describing words. Go ahead and pause the video now. Super! You're probably getting the hang of making scientific observations. Here's my table. Does it look similar to yours? If you'd like to add more detail, feel free to pause the video again and add to your observations. We're going to move on to the next part of the plant, leaves. Here are some photos of different leaves. Do you notice how many different structures there are? There are some that look similar and some that look very different. This time, I'd like you to choose 2 photos that you're interested in and make observations just like we did for the roots and the stems. I'll leave some describing words on the screen to support you with your observations. Go ahead and pause the video now to complete your observations, drawings, and some writing. I bet your drawings look spectacular. I hope you've added some describing words too. Scientists like to add as much detail as possible to their observations, so it's always good to add words or phrases like we've done in our table. So let's look at one more plant part, the seeds. Here are some photos of different seeds, and they all have different structures. Please pick 2 of the seeds to do your observations, just like you did with the leaves. Go ahead and pause the video now. Wow, we've made a lot of observations and drawings. Your paper should look similar to mine now. You'll notice that there's a whole column that we didn't finish. Here's what you'll do now. Instead of observing plant parts in photos, you're going to find a plant in your house, or you can head outside with an adult. Find roots, a stem, leaves, and seeds. They can be from the same plant, or you can do different plants for each part. This is a great chance to use your sense of smell or touch. Once you've completed your observations and you've filled in the rest of your table, come back to play the video. It's almost time for me to tell you how to earn your special badge. Go ahead and pause the video now, and I'll see you back here soon. Great, you're back! How did your observations go? I went outside to observe a lily that I just planted. Here's what my recording sheet looks like now. I wonder if yours is similar or if it's very different. It's important to practice talking like a scientist too. So sometime before our next lesson, I'd like for you to share your observations with a family member, friend, pet, or stuffed animal. Remember, scientists like to be as detailed as possible, so try to use some of your describing words when you share. Our lesson is almost over, so let's review the learning targets. Were you able to identify some common plant structures like roots, a stem, leaves, and seeds? And were you able to complete your observation table? If so, you're ready to earn your first badge to celebrate your learning. First, you might need a little bit of help from an adult, so if you'd like to pause the video and find someone to help, you can do that now. When you're ready to go, get into your learning map and you'll see this icon that says Get My Badge. When you click on that, it will take you to the form where you answer a few questions. Once you answer the questions, it will take you to your badge. Then you can copy your badge onto your learning map to show what you've accomplished. Congratulations! You are ready to get your badge for understanding plant and animal structure. Go ahead and head over to the learning map now.